Google search and search in general is getting disrupted. Diversified into all of these new channels. People might not even start with search. They're actually going to ChatGPT, search engine optimization going away. So what now? And there's a new field of AI optimization that is emerging. It's an exciting time to be in marketing.
こんにちは、クロスディグの中川です。今日のワンオンワンはブルームバーグのスタジオからお送りしています。テーマは AI で激変するマーケティングです。Google などの検索が AI によって破壊される、ChatGPT などの AI 検索の登場以降、そう言われてきました。日本でもマーケティングの重要な手段になっているのが SEO ですね。で、AI 検索の上ではこの SEO が機能しなくなるということも言われています。ただこれも激変のあくまで一部です。今日はアメリカからマーケティングのプロをお呼びして AI の中心地で何が起こっているのか詳しく伺っていきます。顧客管理ソフトを開発する HubSpot の CEO ヤミニ・ランガンさんです。So Yamini, it's great to have you here.
It's fantastic to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So you flew from the US and just landed in Japan last night?
That's right. Just landed. Actually, I was in Sydney and for a customer event, and then landed last night, and then flying back to the U.S. tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hectic schedule. Okay, so have you come to Japan multiple times before?
Yes. I love Tokyo. I love Japan. I've been here multiple times, mostly for work, but a couple times with my family, and it's such a wonderful country.
Okay, that's great to hear. So you're the CEO of HubSpot.
Yep.
That's a $33 billion company, right?
Yes.
The market cap. And in my understanding, HubSpot is the customer management software for salespeople, marketing people, customer services people. So could you tell us what your company does?
Yeah, absolutely. We are $30 billion in market cap, and we've been around for about 19 years. And we started as a marketing automation company, and today we are a customer platform. And our mission and purpose is to help small and medium businesses grow. And we do that by helping them develop leads and build pipeline and helping them close those deals and then delight their customers by offering, like you said, marketing, sales, and support software.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I would like to today's interview into three segments.
Okay.
And first one is the truth about the capital of AI, which is San Francisco.
Yes.
You're based in San Francisco.
Yes.
So I want to dig deeper on what's happening out there. And second is AI disrupts the search and SEO.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's marketing. And so our audience is business professionals from 20s to 40s, and many of them are sales and marketing and kind of related work.
Yeah.
So I think they should be interested in these
fascinating
topics.
conversation.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. And the final part is AI transforms sales and customer service. So let's get into it. So the truth about the capital of AI, which is San Francisco. You're based in San Francisco.
Yes.
And so that's where AI startups like the OpenAI and Anthropic were founded.
Yep.
So as a business leader, as a CEO of tech company, what are you witnessing in San Francisco, in Bay Area, and about AI right now?
Yeah, it is absolutely fascinating and exciting times. And you're right that San Francisco seems to be kind of the epicenter of all of the developments in AI. And you mentioned two companies, ChatGPT from OpenAI as well as Claude from Anthropic. I do think that there is a big war for AI OS that's happening. And the big fight that's happening is who is going to be the leader in providing foundational models or LLMs that can capture the attention of both consumers as well as business users within AI. And Masa, you probably remember like the 1990s where there was a big war for the browser. Who's going to win the browser war? And then you probably remember the mobile OS war between Android and Apple. Who is going to become the leader in mobile OS? And there is a similar kind of like battle that's happening between, OpenAI, between Claude, between Gemini, DeepSeek, all of these model companies in terms of who gets to be the main LLM. And in addition to that, a lot of what is happening in the application layer is changing pretty dramatically. And you've probably seen, SaaS, grow up over the last couple of decades. Now there is an agentic software model that's developing on top of the LLMs. And there's so many companies that are now starting up with agents and providing agents that can help do work. And the way I would characterize it is that the last generation of software companies, we provided software to be able to help someone do the work when they are at their desk or getting a job done. Now we're providing work itself as an output, and that is the shift to agents. And so pretty exciting developments both in the LLM layer as well as the agentic layer. Yep.
So, yeah, that led to everyone talking about AI displacing humans these days, especially just this week, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy told employees in the next few years, we expect that this will reduce our total corporate workforce to get efficiency gains from using AI extensively across the company. And then Microsoft is doing the massive layoffs and everything. So how are you thinking about AI changing the employment landscape, like for software engineers or salespeople and everything?
Yeah, I saw the headlines from Amazon, Microsoft this week. I am a true believer that AI is going to augment humans so that we can drive much more quality work as well as the output of work. And so I do think that in certain functions like support, the number of people that will end up doing first-tier support and providing answers for their customers, that's going to reduce because there is a finite amount of work. If you have a set number of customers, there's a finite number of support tickets, and then if AI can augment humans to resolve those tickets, then the number of people that you're going to need in a function like support is going to come down. But I believe that there are other functions like sales, for example, or even development in engineering, for example, where you're going to need as many humans as you have today, because the more salespeople you have, the more you can sell. If they are actually productive with AI, they can actually sell more in the same amount of time with AI, and that is going to help you drive growth. And so I think there will be some functions where the headcount is going to go flat or reduce, and then there's going to be other functions where we, because of the level of productivity, are going to continue to increase, what we can deliver to our customers. So I think it's going to be a balance of both. Like every wave, before, technology is going to help us do more and better. AI is going to help us do more and better. And there will be roles that won't exist, a few years from now, and there will be new roles that are created, in order for us to leverage the productivity gains.
But I remember Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei is talking about entry-level jobs is going to decrease. What's your take on that?
I think entry-level jobs, should, go by, because, you have a lot of like tier 1 support as an example of an entry-level job. I mean, you don't need to spend as much time because you should be able to, start delivering even more value. And there is a handoff between AI and humans, and that's going to happen. It's, somewhat similar in sales, where you have this function called BDR, which is a business development rep. And the job and function of a business development rep today is to research accounts, research companies, create emails that you can send to those companies so that you can set up meetings for your salespeople. That's the entry-level job. AI can augment a lot of that, but that means the salesperson can do more, and you can hopefully very quickly progress from that entry-level job to the next level job. So, are there going to be shifts in roles, functions? Yes, it is. But I'm not of the mindset that it means, X% less, fewer jobs for all of us within at least the go-to-market functions that I kind of am keenly following.
Okay. What about your company? What's happening in terms of AI productivity thing going on?
Internally. So look, ChatGPT dropped in November 2022. And while we had a lot of AI in the roadmap, but that was a really important, point in time. And so we came into 2023 and we pivoted our product roadmap, and we said we wanted to embed AI into every part of our roadmap. And at the same time, we said we're going to adopt AI internally ourselves. And since then, for the last 30 plus months, we've been both embedding and building an AI first platform, and at the same time becoming a company that is using AI internally. And Masa, the second part of using AI internally is really important. We're not using AI just for the sake of AI or to reduce headcount. We're actually using AI to learn so that we can speak to our customers with conviction. Use cases that are adding value, use cases that are not working, and places where AI is already ready for certain functions and places where they're not. And so 3 examples internally that I'll talk about. The first one is support. And we started talking about support. HubSpot has been growing our customer base. We've been growing our customer base between 20 and 25% for the last couple of years. We said we're going to hold our headcount and still deliver customer support using AI. And over the last 18 months, we are now able to resolve nearly 50% of our tier 1 support tickets through AI, which means we've been able to hold our support headcount, and we've been able to take some of those folks that were delivering tier 1 support to more higher value added proactive support and other areas of the business. And so that is one example, 50% resolution using AI while maintaining the customer success, and customer satisfaction to be fairly high. The second area is prospecting. We started talking about the BDR function. That's a great use case for AI. And internally, we've been using AI to research accounts, to be able to create emails and to set up meetings. And in fact, in the last few quarters, we have set up between 10,000 to 12,000 meetings using AI. And that's augmenting that BDR function, that early stage, sales role that we were just talking about. And
how
that's
do you
success.
use AI on that context?
In how are we using? So we use AI to research accounts. So if typically a salesperson will have between 100 and 400 accounts, we are using AI to go and look at those accounts and gather information that looks very similar to customers that we have seen before. And then we research those accounts and say if there is a change in a leadership or it's a change in strategy, then let's leverage that to formulate an email outreach. And so AI will do a draft of the email which says, well, this is the strategy that has changed, or here are challenges that you talked about within your earnings call, and we use that to send emails. And then when those emails come back, we will set up meetings. And so those are all things that AI is now helping us do, and that's helping us drive prospecting better. And then the final use case I would talk about internally is marketing. We'll talk about marketing in the next segment, but marketing is going through a huge change. And the kind of content that you need to create and the channels with which you are distributing that content is changing pretty significantly. And so we're using AI to look at the intent of who is coming to our website or who is looking at our YouTube, and then matching the information internally to send much more personalized outreach to those customers and prospects. And that has increased the conversion of our marketing efforts between 80 and 100%. So very tangible examples of how we are using internally with very specific, changes to the metrics that we're seeing.
Okay. So you tell me about how your company uses AI, but how are you personally using AI?
Oh my God, I'm just a huge fan. I think again back in 2023, I started with using foundation models, and today, if any day I open my laptop, it's got OpenAI, ChatGPT, it has Claude, it has Gemini. And then, in terms of my day-to-day work, if there is a, deep research that I need to do about some topic, then, it's ChatGPT. Or if I need to write a creative narrative for a conference, or to, talk to a certain set of partners, then I'm using Claude. And so it's just deeply embedded in the way I get my work done.
Do you do vibe coding?
It's a great question. I have. I have been, and so vibe coding for the folks that are here, it's like a just a vibe on expressing what you need to be able to code and build it. And so I've looked at like Lovable, and Cursor, Lovable. There are multiple platforms that allow you to do it, and I've been using Lovable, to vibe code on the side. And it's what is interesting about it is that we are now getting used to expressing our taste and expressing our point of view and expressing what we want to see in an application, and then it allows you to build something. And so I've absolutely been vibe coding both personally to build some apps, as well as things that I'd like to see at work.
Yep. Okay.
Have you been vibe coding?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Still getting there.
Yeah, getting there. It's fun. It's fun. You got to try it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you. So moving on to the second segment, AI disrupts search and SEO.
Yes.
So the emergence of AI search has made it very difficult, all the marketers, to attract traffic to the websites and properties. And people call it the disruption of SEO and everything. So Google just announced AI mode instead of AI overviews. That's been going on for a year. So what was your reaction to that?
Well, first of all, you talked about three things, and I want to break it down. The first thing that's happening is that search, Google search, and search in general is getting disrupted. For a very long time, we would have people write keywords, and if you had the right keywords, you would rank within the blue links. And when your customer went and searched in Google, the blue links would show up. Your customer would click on one of the blue links. They would come to your website. You would then nurture with more content. You'd capture their email, and then you would nurture them for a very long time. That was called search engine optimization, and it was all content-based marketing so that your keywords listed. Now what is happening is that 60% or more of Google searches don't even result in a click to a blue link. And that's because AI overviews, which you mentioned, are showing up the answers. And if a customer is asking a question or searching for something on Google and you already get an answer, then why do you need to click a link to go to someone else's website? AI is providing an answer. That's huge. Because now the blog that you have and the content that you have on your website is still great, but the link between Google search and your website is broken, right? So that's the first thing that's actually happening. And when you go into AI mode, it actually becomes even bigger, because AI overviews and AI mode are going to provide a lot more answers, and people are not going to visit your website. So there is a big shift that's happening. In addition, there's one more thing that's happening, Masa, which is that people might not even start with search. They're actually going to ChatGPT and Anthropics of the world and asking a question. And so the starting point is not search. The starting point is an LLM conversation, which means over a period of time, the number of visitors to your website is going to go down. So what now? I think there is a completely new playbook that's emerging. I mean, to a certain extent, there will still be some search and some links that are coming back to your website, but you also need to kind of optimize for being found, in an AI search. And it's not keywords. It's not keywords that AI is going to pick up, and there's a new field of AI optimization that is emerging. And that is much more about answering specific questions that a customer or a prospect might have. So how do you get specific answers? How do you repeat yourself across multiple places so that some LLM out there can actually find your answer? That's a whole methodology and a playbook that's emerging. And then in addition to that, because search is getting disrupted, you actually have to be where your customers are. And your customers are on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on community websites, they're everywhere on social. They're not just coming to your website. And so the strategies that you need to follow are, one, you got to continue with the search optimization because it's not zero yet. And second, you have to have a content strategy that is diversified into all of these new channels, including LinkedIn, YouTube, and so on. And you have to start thinking about the content that's going to be found by AI as part of AI optimization. And if you did all three, then you're going to not just worry about the traffic coming to your website, you're really going to worry about the conversion of customers and prospects everywhere into kind of your product. And so it's an exciting time to be in marketing. I know there's a lot of like articles about search optimization going away or search engine optimization going away, but there's a new way of how to attract your customers and engage with your customers that's emerging, and there's just a ton happening within that field.
Great. But HubSpot's blog traffic was dramatically dropped by 70% this year. Really, right?
Yeah.
Were you worried, and what was it?
No, I mean, look, I think a lot of articles have been written about this, but we've known this for many years. In fact, last year at the Inbound conference, which is the conference for HubSpot, I spoke about this.
Right.
And I said, content leads are going to go down, and it's going to go down for the next few years to come. So this is not like a surprise for us that the content leads are going. A few things. Number one, content leads are about 10% of our overall marketing demand generation plan. It's not like 100%. So yes, it's declining, but it's a 10% that is declining. Number two, we have been focused on diversifying our channels for the last 3 years. In 2022, we acquired a whole set of podcasts, and we rate as one of the top business podcast networks, within the globe, and that has expanded our reach. We acquired 2 email newsletters, one called Hustle and the other called Mindstream. One is an AI newsletter and the other is a regular one. And we've been able to expand and reach millions of users through email newsletters. And our YouTube volume has grown, where we have nearly 20 million visitors looking at our YouTube content. And so we have been on this path of diversification from 2021, 2022, and that diversification strategy has been working. So for sure, the blog traffic has gone down, but our YouTube traffic has improved. Our ability to attract customers through email, newsletters, as well as podcasts. And then more importantly, as we talked about earlier, we've used AI to drive much more personal messages to our customers and prospects. And that means when you finally get to hear about HubSpot, you'll get like much more personal messages, and the conversion rate has improved. And so I think that this is not a shocker or a surprise. And I know lots of articles have been written, but we've been going through this diversification strategy for many years, and it's all coming to bear right now.
Okay. It is actually reported that Google was trying to acquire HubSpot. Is there anything you can?
No, I can't comment on that, and I think that has played itself out. I don't think I've heard that rumor in more than a year, but I can't comment on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So moving on to the final part, AI transforms sales and customer service. So many of our audience are salesperson.
Yeah.
And sales is a popular job in Japan too. And
Great.
Yeah. And so I hear them saying it's such a hassle to record their engagement with customers and software like Salesforce and HubSpot and everything about email and chatting, talking on the phone, in person. So how are AI and agents going to change sales from your perspective?
Oh, there is such a massive change that's happening within sales, and it's pretty exciting. I started my career in sales with this company called Siebel. I don't know if you remember them, way back, original CRM company. And there are a couple of immovable metrics within sales. The first metric, which has been really hard to move for multiple decades, is the time that you spend in front of customers. If you ask a salesperson, how much time do you spend in front of customers? They'll be like, maybe 20%, maybe 30%. So out of all the time that you are there, you are spending only 20% of the time in front of customers. What are you doing for the rest of the time? You're researching accounts. You're figuring out how to reach that customer. You're writing an email. You're following up on that email. You're trying to prepare for demos. So there's just a ton of work that you're trying to do, which now AI can help. And we talked about this earlier, Masa, where you give AI a set of like accounts, it can go and look at all the websites, it can research those companies, it can tell what's happening within those companies that meets your software, like meets the needs of your software. So I think that's a huge shift, and you're going to see, prospecting agents come out that will help us do. We have a prospecting agent that's actually helping our customers look at all of that. Then there is another really important thing that you're talking about, which is when I started my career in sales, I would have conversations with customers, and then I would take notes, mostly written notes. And then I'd come into my desktop app or even a cloud app, and then I would type in all of those notes. People hate doing that.
Yeah.
Nobody likes doing that. What is so different about AI is now you can say, when you're setting up a prospecting agent or you're setting up like HubSpot, you can say, connect to my Google Calendar or connect to my email, and it is automatically picking up the contacts within that. So you can say, oh, this is the first time you're meeting Masa. Masa is not as a contact within your email. Do you want me to add to a contact? And you're saying yes. So instead of like you going to a CRM and adding, the name and adding the contact and adding the conversation and typing all of that, you're using unstructured data that might be in a call, that might be in an email, that might be in a transcript of the conversation that you're having. And AI can automatically pull all of that. And now your CRM is, completely different. It's not about you pointing and clicking and adding fields. You already are adding all of that conversation and that intelligence from the conversation you're having within your CRM. And then your CRM is saying, okay, here's a prompt. And based on the conversation that we already recorded, here's an email for you to send to that prospect. And here are customer stories that you already have that have been successful customers. Do you want me to send this email? And you're like, yes. So imagine this, like instead of pointing and clicking and adding things into software, you now have the opportunity with AI to say, I want this contact. Yes, you already added it. Yeah. I want this email sent. Yes, you already did it. And this is not like 10 years from now. It's happening now.
Right.
Our prospecting agent is actually helping customers do all of these things.
Right.
And it's an exciting time to be.
Great. So I heard from some sales executives at a startup and enterprise told me that AI is already doing the call calling, like automatic calling.
Yeah.
AI is already taking those calls.
Yeah.
So AIs are contacting each other.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening in the States. It's sort of happening.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the future of sales? Like
I don't
calling
think so.
between AI?
I don't know. You always get this question of like, are agents going to buy from agents and then we're going to sit outside and watch? I think it's very far off, and I don't see that. I think of sales as such a human connection. The best experiences that I have had was when, someone who was selling something to me got what I was looking for, was able to guide me through the process. So there's a lot of things like research and follow-ups and emails and, all that AI can do. But to me, the beauty and the art in sales is that human connection where I get to know what very specific pain points you have and how can I help you solve it. And so I'm in the mindset that, the agent to agent world is not the world that we live in. It's actually AI augmenting humans so that we can have better human connection. That's the world that I think is more relevant to us. And I think that's the world that I think will happen within sales.
Okay. And lastly, about the customer service.
Right.
So we all experience all the chatbots not being able to answer our questions or answers that's not relevant to us, or doing nothing.
Yes.
But generative AI, LLMs, is changing that. So what do you think about the AI's change? How AI is changing?
Look, I think it's a perfect use case. Support and answering support questions is like a perfect use case for AI. And for many decades now, we've all gotten used to calling that airline and being on hold for 40 minutes, and then the agent still does not know your customer information. I mean, we've been in frustrating customer support calls for so many years, and I think AI changes that. And I still think that there is a handoff to humans for much more complex, support questions, but the set of tier 1 questions where you can just give our customer agent knowledge base, articles, you can give like a prior history of the support tickets, and you can give links to your website with all of the website information. And just based on all of that, the agent starts answering questions while keeping the customer satisfaction rate pretty high, comparable to the humans. And so it's a perfect and proven use case for AI. There's still a handoff to tier 2 support or more complex support, and you'll begin to see that handoff become easier. But that use case, a lot of customers are using. In fact, we have over 3,200 customers on our customer agent with an average resolution rate of 52%. 52%.
Just only by AI?
Just AI.
Okay.
52% of tickets are getting resolved by AI. We have customers that are solving 80% of their support tickets using AI. And the difference between someone who is 40% resolution and someone who is 80% resolution is knowledge base and documentation of prior support tickets and so on. And so once we get better knowledge articles written, then AI can solve even more. And so this is a proven use case. A lot of customers seeing value there.
Okay. In the customer service space, everyone was talking about Klarna.
Yes.
Like going into the all AI customer service. But they're sort of giving up on all AI.
Yes.
Like they coming back, they're getting people back to the process.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that? What do you think?
I have a lot of I get a lot of inspiration from companies that are going all in on AI. And I think they're an example of a company that went all in on AI, took all the data and said, we're just going to go all in. There's a ton of inspiration to take out of that. Now, can you remove all applications, just put data and then start looking at the data? I mean, they're kind of saying that it's not working. And, so I take that hype and the hot takes out of AI, and I really look at there is a new technology that can help customers in very specific use cases. What are those use cases and how do we bring that to bear for our small and medium businesses? Because if you think about small and medium businesses, they don't have the expertise to take all the data and start building AI on top. They don't, they're not looking at LLM and thinking, do I look at like 4.0? Do I look at like Claude 3.7? Like, how should I look at the difference? They don't want to do all of that stuff. What they want is they want to grow. And they want great solutions that are easy to use and fast to value to be able to help them grow. And that's how we're leveraging AI rather than kind of like go all in or really do some things for the sake of technology. We want to do things to drive better outcomes.
I guess everyone's taking the right balance by doing that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I guess I have to let you go. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right.